Hey friends, welcome to the Saturday Chat.
Hey friends.
That's Dave. I'm Ashley. This in my lap is Janet. Dave and I play music in a band called SugarLimeBlue. Janet does not. She is our home companion.
She's a big and roadie.
Well, she'd save us from a lot of XLR cables, I have a feeling.
So Saturday Chat where we talk about the song. We are recording on Sunday.
We're playing
on Sunday. The Sunday shout out. This week we are doing Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
Yes.
So the word that I was listening to try to pronounce, did you catch that?
Pian?
Pian. It's an ode or a song or a poem.
Okay.
That is of high gratitude or high praise.
Okay.
So they said that this song is that of Elvis.
Okay, so I read that word when I was doing a little research on the song, but my brain just said, nope, we don't know how to do that one, and move along.
So this song written by Elvis Presley, they said that his voice could be equated to Black Velvet.
It was very smooth, yep. And also that when they went to go see, they were in Memphis for the 10-year anniversary of his passing. And so there was a vigil that was being held, and many of the fans had the Black Velvet paintings of Elvis. So it was kind of their ode,
Homage.
or the paean to him.
Yeah, so we wore our Black Velvet today.
We did.
I got my shirt.
We did. Although mine is not actually velvet. It is something akin to pian. My mother can pronounce it, but it's a crushed velvet sort of thing. So, yeah.
Interesting. So, the song, it was very bluesy when it was released. It was 1989. I remember it. I was in school. It was a pretty big hit. And, it was released on a pop radio and rock radio. And
I know it was a big crossover hit, though.
Did you know that it was actually released on country radio by a country artist?
I did know that. Yeah, in 1990, like just a few months after.
Just a few months after. So it was hitting like all the radio waves.
It was. I remember listening to it actually on country radio, but I believe it was Alana's version of it because that's the one I'm super familiar with. So I don't know if
got more and more popular.
different regions.
I wonder if they replaced it with her version because maybe they started playing it with the one, but then the one became more popular. So or they requested it because they got familiar with it as a country song. Anyways, I'm not gonna understate the difficulty of playing a groove that is kind of minimalistic and not a lot going on for 5 minutes straight without really coming off of the groove.
Also, when you have listened to the song quite a bit and you know that there are other parts in there that had you had a rhythm section to play along with, you would have played some really interesting guitar bits.
Stick to it. I had to apply a lot of stick-to-itiveness to not play a lot of extra parts. I had to really buckle down and hit the bump, bump.
You did great.
Bump, 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 bump. And it sounds easy. It does sound easy to do, but to do it repetitively for that long makes it difficult.
I don't think it is easy. I think it's actually quite difficult because you can hide a lot in a lick, and you can hide a lot in chord changing, but to be really steady and solid is more difficult.
And your rhythm playing and repetitive things is always a bit of a challenge. Because
I think with some of the lead playing, you have a little more push and pull. You can kind of weave in and out of the beats.
Let alone what I am playing.
So the steadiness is, I just think it's hard also for the brain to not wander.
Yeah.
And then you come back and go, oh no, I've messed up my timing or whatever.
Especially in a new song. So you have a new song that we haven't done before, and we learned it fairly short notice, like today. And then we performed it, and we're trying to do it in one take. And, you're going through it, and your mind is wandering about, okay, do I really know the next change? What's the next change?
Yeah.
Oh, and the more complicated part, is coming up. That's this, and this. And it's very easy to stumble
Yeah.
Because the motor skills are like locked in. You know,
Right. Well, also you don't have
haven't done it enough where your motor skills
the muscle memory for that song.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, there's some songs that we've played over the years for just years. And I know I've even done it while singing lyrics. I will zone out onto the next song, or what's that person in the audience doing? Or do they need help? You know, or something completely different. And then I'll kind of morph back into my own body and go, oh, where am I in the lyrics right now? And my muscle memory will just take over. And that's what I call knowing a song. Like there's knowing a song and then there's knowing a song. You have it in your bones and you can really just go on autopilot almost with the song.
Time, so to speak, and anytime,
it's super comfortable.
It's just like
super comfortable.
Is putting your emotion through it, which is the goal, you know. And just
right, and the goal is not to zone out. I'm attempting not to go to a different place, but there are things, kind of like what you're talking about, that you have to sort of facilitate while you're on stage in a live show. You have to figure out, am I going to take the microphone off the stand, and at what point shall I do that, and do I need a different monitor mix, or how long do we have until they want us to stop playing, or things like that.
The confidence in the song is really a weird progression to me, because like you start off right and you don't know the song at all, so you learn it, and then you're any part that is maybe just a little bit different than other songs, or you haven't tackled, and as we do more and more songs, it becomes easier and easier, of course, but like the parts that you haven't quite memorized or you don't recall like from the record exactly, so that you're having to like do rote memorization, so to speak, where you're like, okay, this chord's next. Like you're not hearing the change because you haven't really. So like those parts kind of stick out, you know, and you're having a hard time with it, and then you get them right. So then you have them down where you've memorized them, and there's like a little bit of a sweet spot there for a minute where you're like, you have the song and you're having to really pay attention to it, but you know the song pretty well, and you're performing really well. And then your brain does this thing like shortly after that, you know, and this is like, it can be days or weeks or months, or it can be all within the course of a day, depending on how many times you're going over a song, you know, or how often you're playing it. And sometimes you can slip back into prior stages.
Yes.
If you haven't played it in a long time.
Yes.
But, so then you go from this area where you're pretty comfortable with it and you know the changes, but you're having to pay attention, so you perform it really well.
Yeah.
You know, and those times you're performing it really well. But then what happens is your brain kind of starts to let go, and it says,
it's like, I know this.
It's like, I know this. And then like you have these moments where your brain gets in the way and says,
almost like an overconfidence.
Change coming up.
Yeah.
Do you really know it? Like, and you're like, oh crap, I can't name it on the spot. Are my hands gonna do it?
Yeah.
You know, and then you go through this little phase where it's almost like a little regression phase where you have to like kind of be like, no, I got to get the song better, and then you get it even better, and then you get to a point where you know the song so well, like the back of your hand, that it's just like, oh, we're playing that song,
because it's in my bones,
and everything flows, and like you said, you could just disappear from the song, but what you can really do is in the solos or the places where you want to really
stretch out a little bit,
that's when you can really add on your flavor and take it to the next level.
Well, I find like when we're approaching the shout out songs, it's actually beneficial to me, I think, as an artist, as my own creative being, to not be super duper familiar with the song, because when I give a listen to it, I can give a nod to the original artist without trying to mimic them, and it's harder to do if I'm super familiar with it, if it's kind of ingrained already in my brain.
Like super familiar, I'm kind of more saying like you've made up your mind as to how you're going to perform it, and you have this conception, not necessarily that you're performing it like another version, but that
I understand.
You have like a conception of how you want to do it, and then you're shooting for that. You know,
well, we've often said that you have to know where the box is so that you could step outside of it. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of our approach, but I find it easier to sort of like live outside the box when I'm not super duper familiar with the song.
You know, it's funny because like after learning so many songs in so many years, you know, it's like there's different bass starting points. Even like there's a bass 0, right? Where it's like, I've never heard this song before. Somebody requested it. This is my first listen. And
that's normally me.
And we're going to do it for a shout out.
That's normally me.
Well,
Dave will be surely you've heard this song. Surely.
There's some for me, you know, but like not as often. That's true. You know, and a lot of times we gravitate to the songs where at least you've heard them. Or,
I've heard the chorus once.
Yeah. So,
in the grocery
or enough that you have a little bit of familiarity with it. But then you have the base of, you know, soft familiarity, we'll call it, where it's like, Yeah, like you said, I've heard the chorus.
Yeah.
I can sing. I can
That
hum
seems
the
almost
chorus
familiar.
when I hear it.
Yeah.
I can hum the chorus almost immediately because it's in there somewhere.
Or I know the hook.
But
perhaps.
I don't really understand like these other parts.
Yeah.
And then you have the maybe loose familiarity of the whole song, we'll call it, or moderate familiarity, where it's like you kind of know like the melody, but maybe not the words, and it's like you kind of have an idea of some of the parts. Maybe you forgot the bridge, and like oh yeah, that part. You know,
there's 4 verses instead of 3. I thought there were 3.
So,
yeah.
And then there's like a pretty like good idea of what the song is and what it's about, and like you know the changes.
Like you can
hum along. You can maybe sing some of the long songs. Then there's all the way up to like I really actually know the song a lot. Like Smooth was kind of that way.
Like
for
you're
me.
friends with the song.
You know, it's like I know the song really well, and it's like if there's little things in there that you maybe are a little unexpected, because like in that song in particular he used like a chord that I didn't really expect, even though I could hear it, but it wasn't something that I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, and for me it was lyrics.
You know,
lyrics that I didn't know.
Yeah, I got this, you know, so it's like coming into it you're like, all right, and then like it's, I mean, there's all the way up to like songs that are simple and you understand them, and it's like I know how to play this song without even getting my guitar. Like, I know how to sing this song. I know how I want to approach it.
Sometimes, though, it's almost like, what do they call it? The Dunning-Kruger effect, where you have like an overconfidence, and then it's like, oh no, this is not this is not the sounds I want to make.
This song, I totally knew, like the whole verse with the kind of the chugging part, the gung 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 gung. I knew in my mind how I wanted to approach it.
Yeah.
I knew that it was a bass part, but I knew that I also wanted to like adapt it to guitar. Right?
Yes.
So like, and I kind of knew like the whole idea of it, and then I knew the chorus in the back of my mind, but I hadn't heard it in so long that it was kind of like, oh yeah, it goes places that I forgot about, you know. And then there was a bridge.
Totally forgot there was a bridge. Yeah.
So it wasn't long to adapt it.
Right.
And the other thing that's interesting is like I've probably played this song in my early 20s a few times, right? So like, do you find that if there's a song that falls out of our catalog and we haven't played it for a long time,
right?
Our songs too are originals.
Yeah. Yes.
But when you come back and it's not a bass 0 and you have to relearn the song, it's like almost like you take it someplace different, because it's like relearning a different song. Almost.
It is. So it is not like riding a bicycle. There are bits that just sort of fall off. I feel like it's almost like coming back into the atmosphere after it's launched out of our orbit for a little while, and it's coming back in. Some things burn off on re-entry, and then you got to add bits back on to make it whole again.
And then sometimes you haven't played a song for a while, and you pick it back up, and you leave out parts, or you change parts, or you change the feel ever so slightly.
Yes.
And you'll be playing it that way for a while, and you're kind of cool with it, and then you hear it.
Do you ever regress back to the other way? Yeah.
Well, you kind of hear it the other way, and you're like, oh shoot, like I either like this way better, or I like it worse.
Oh, I missed it. We did that.
I missed it. We did that.
But I also don't want to change it. We've done that before.
Yeah, we've done that, and we've also done some things where it's like, oh wait, this is better the way it was before.
Well,
like, why did I stop doing that?
Yeah, why did we quit that?
Why am I playing like this?
Even in our originals, we've done that. We'll go back and listen to our recordings and be like, oh, that was a cool part.
It's really interesting how
remember?
Artistry progresses.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
for sure, I think it's a little like a tide. It kind of comes and goes, and
so we didn't talk much about Alana Miles, but I don't really know much about her. I just know that she had this hit, and I think she had a single before this, and I don't know that she had anything afterwards.
I don't know. We'll have to maybe do a deeper dive, but I know the two songwriters, and she were all Canadian. That I got.
I know that at the time, I think it was her producer, and she were boyfriend girlfriend.
Okay.
And he was one of the songwriters on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So,
well, I really like her voice. That has a little more grit than mine naturally has to it. I very much enjoyed her performance.
Think of her as having grit, which is interesting.
Really?
Like, so I think of like
what would you say?
Janice as having grit.
Well, yeah.
And then I think of like Alana Miles' voice as being more smoky.
Smoky. Okay.
I don't know why.
I could
it's kind
go
of
with your
more,
descriptors.
It's got like more air to it. Like,
not so much gravel.
Like
that's why I said grit and not gravel.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like she's somewhere between more akin to like a Linda Ronstadt almost. Like somewhere between, I think she's somewhere between like a Janis Joplin.
I think Linda Ronstadt is smooth. I think Linda Ronstadt's more velvety.
Yeah. But I think she's somewhere between the two, like between like a Janis Joplin and a Linda Ronstadt, or between like a Janis Joplin and a Sarah McLachlan, somewhere in between. I'm not saying that she's all the way to one side. It's like if you took the two and kind of.
All right. Well, I think I would say maybe she has like a classic rock and roll female voice.
Well, I think
How about that? Maybe like
I
Joan
think
Jett
that
sort of
Lana
a thing?
Miles, is like she comes across to me as having like a very controlled voice. Like
Yes.
it's very controlled.
Yes.
To me. Like which is it's almost like, and I don't know anything about her, so I'm just like guessing, but it feels more controlled and more schooled and learned, and like she's like a lot more better breath control, it feels like, than some of like the belters will say.
Right.
You know, so that's why I think she kind of falls in between, and a lot of the roughness that I hear is more of like the whisper or the air to
Well,
her
it's
voice.
definitely purposeful. I'm not saying it's like it's on purpose.
Yeah, I guess the reason I say that is because like when she starts to nail some of those high notes, like her voice cleans up.
Smooths. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's funny that there was a little, I'm going to call it grit or smokiness to a Black Velvet song.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
So,
that was great.
yeah. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for our Saturday chat. We'll see you tomorrow for our Sunday shout out and next week for another chat.
Listen, let us know
Yeah.
what you think, and join us on our voyage. Subscribe below, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.